Codependency is like enabling. They kind of feed off one another. People who are codependent feel better when the other person feels better. They feel worse when the other person feels worse. Some of the biggest behaviors we see in codependency, and some of the main reasons why people don't intervene due to codependency is they are needed in the relationship. They feel that their addict or alcoholic loved one, it is now their role to take care of that person. And if not for them, that person would die. They think the enabling, fueling the codependent relationship is helping the person. It's not. It's making them more comfortable. It's making them easier to stay sick. And then people say, well, they don't want help. And it's like, no. It's not about whether or not they want it. It's about whether or not they have to get it. If you're taking care of everything, you're codependent, you're enabling, why would anybody give that up? It's like free everything. Most people aren't going to forego that to go to rehab. So when it comes to codependency, being needed in the relationship is another humongous point. I say that to families when we're doing a consultation. Nobody's ever disagreed. Some of them do get angry because that's, of course, fear. I'm hitting the ego. And it is absolutely what they go through. And I always use this scenario when I give leads to even professionals or whatever group I'm talking to. You take a hospice nurse who cares for a man for 20 years. 7 days a week, her job is to wake up, go to work, and care for this man who is sick. That is her entire purpose in life. That's all she does is care for a sick person who can't care for themselves. One day, Monday comes, she wakes up, she goes to the office, and the man is not there. She walks in, the cake's there, the party hats are there, the streamers. It's not that he died, he got better, and he walked out the door. Is that nurse happy? She'll tell you she is, but she's not. We just took away her purpose. We just took away reason for being. We just hit her ego. That man got better without her assistance, and that crushes you. She'll tell everybody that she feels fine. She'll tell everybody she's happy, and she's not. That man was her normal. That was her routine. And even if it was a family member, that's all she knew. And families forget what it was like before the addiction started. I'll ask a family, what was it like before the addiction started? They'll go on a 20-minute rant about how great it was. Then I'll say, how is it today? And they'll go on a 20-minute rant about how horrible it is. I'll say, then why do you let it continue? And they don't have an answer. And the reason they let it continue is because this is all they now know. It goes with anything else. We become a product of our environment. We stay in bad marriages for the sake of being alone. We stay at bad jobs for the fear of rejection, of having to go interview. And we tell ourselves other things to justify staying in them when in fact that's not what they really are. There's other forces and emotions at play. That's codependency. You're attached to somebody else's way of being, and you feel that you have to do certain things to help them when you're really doing is disabling them from helping themselves. In graduate school, I must have heard of 500 different theories on how to treat addiction. Everybody's reinventing the wheel. Everyone's got this blah, 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 blah. Everyone thinks they got, and yet success rates are still low, right? So who's right and who's wrong? There's one thing that was sustainable throughout the entire process of school, my personal and professional experience. And regardless of anybody tells you, I have never seen anything other than what I'm about to say. Nobody stops using drugs or alcohol because things are going well. They all stop because things are going bad. It's the change formula of life, right? When do we change? When the current situation becomes worse than the fear of changing the situation. We're paralyzed by the unknown. We're paralyzed by the fear of what will happen if I do this. And what they're really afraid of is if I do this, what happens to me? What's interesting is people always say, Mike, what if we do this intervention? And they say no. I said, no's easy. You just carry on as you have. What you're terrified of is what if they say yes? And I always tell my staff, if you ever want to know why a family doesn't do an intervention, just look at how they act after they do it. When we do an intervention and the person says no, it's quiet. When they say yes, within 5 days, the families attack us. They attack one another. They're lashing out at the treatment center. They're finding fault in the treatment team. That person starts getting better. The family goes out of control. And every time I say that to a family, they tell me I'm crazy. And then 5 days later, there they are. When the addict says no, They're saying no now. What's different if they say no when we get there? You get to carry on in your codependent enabling behaviors that you're actually accustomed and used to, that you actually prefer. Otherwise, you wouldn't have allowed it to get this far. It's when they say yes, because let me tell you what an intervention means to families. Intervention means if they say yes, I lose my purpose. I'm no longer needed in this relationship. I have to look at myself. My family has to find their new role. We have no more drama. We have no more chaos. We have nothing else to talk about. And when things get quiet, things get uncomfortable. When that alcoholic goes off to treatment and things go quiet really fast, people don't know how to act because this has gone this way for so long that we've adapted to it. Then all of a sudden we take it away in one fell swoop, for the better, mind you, and families get angry, they attack us, they go after us, they blame the treatment center. The addict and the alcoholic lies when the truth would suit them better. The second they go to rehab, everything they say is truthful. Like, they just called me and said this, and the family jumps on it and believes everything they say. Families are far sicker than the addict or the alcoholic, and they don't see that. The best thing a family can do is educate themselves. If they had cancer, any other fatal illness, you would dive in and learn everything you could about the disease. But with addiction, we don't do that. We just stay in our uncomfortable setting and we complain. And the other thing it does too, that people forget about, is when your loved one's an addict, you're a victim. There's sympathy, there's empathy in that. How are you? Everyone's worried about you. You're getting all this attention. I hate to say it, but there's a lot of benefit in your loved one being sick. And if that weren't true, then why are you letting it go?